right, JC, for your 30th birthday, Sweet Molly has requested that some of the old boys record some videos documenting some traits that we like about you and some endearing stories that demonstrate those traits. I have to say, I think you got a good girl here. And I know that because when Jillian heard about this project, she was outraged that she hadn't thought of it first. So, strong work, Molly. All right, Justin. What fucking traits do I like about you? Hmm. There's too many stories, obviously, to go over in such a short little clip here. Um, I'm just gonna run through four that pop to mind, three or four. We'll see how much stamina I have here. So let's see the trait for the first one. I have to say that it's gonna be Justin's righteous indignation, regardless of an individual's age, gender, or ethnicity. Stands by his convictions. This particular story takes place back in the great town of Walla Walla. Justin and I were seniors in college, young men ready to face the world. One of the best years of my life living with you there, Justin. Um, the fuck was the address of that apartment? I forget. Anyway, so we had just moved into an apartment. We had moved out of the Bade Street house, out of that squalor, leaving behind Ian and Phil and Grayson living in their own filth, and we had just gotten this brand new apartment, and we had to outfit it with some furniture and whatnot. So Justin obviously always does his research. He's not gonna scrimp on getting the perfect ideal article or whatever. And so when it came to the matter of the television, Justin, of course, is gonna splurge his money and say, we're gonna big pimp it here. So he goes on Craigslist and finds the biggest TV he can possibly find. So this puppy was a 50-inch monstrosity, and it was like, you know, a year after flat screen TVs came out. So like it was on the cheap. So this motherfucker was like 50 inches, you know, but also 50 inches wide. It was just a huge square fucking TV. It's ginormous. So he finds it on Craigslist, perfect working condition. It's some old rich couple off on the far side of Walla Walla. And clearly Justin can't lift this thing by himself, so I get recruited to go and help him pick it up. I don't even know how we got that thing back. Anyway, so we go to this elderly couple's house, like 75-year-old couple, and we roll up there, and Justin, in true Justin fashion, has say it was going for $300 on Craigslist. He's like, you know what? I'm only gonna bring $280 as a bargaining tool. He's like, look, I'll just show him this is all that I have, and the guy's gonna fold. Like, there's no way he's not gonna take the money, and I'll keep $20 extra that way. And so anyways, we roll in there, and like it's a nice house. It's like these people are wealthy, big yard, big oak trees with just it's fall time, starting a new school year, and the trees are changing colors, and lots of leaves on the ground. So anyways, we roll in there, and this like old man, he just wants to talk to us. That's like chief on his mind, is just having a chat with us, and like he ends up like giving us a tour of his house, and like the whole time we're just like, dude, where's this TV, man? We just want to pick up the TV and bounce. And so anyways, finally the time comes for the transaction, and Justin, just like smooth as the lawyer he's going to turn into, pulls out crisp $280, which is big money, for us poor fucking college students back then, and tells the old man, hey, this is all I have. Take it or leave it. And this old man is just like, you know what? I know how you can work off that extra $20. He's like, why don't you come back tomorrow and rake this whole lawn for me? He's like, and then we'll call it even. And Justin's jaw just fucking dropped. That typical, just innocent, just that JC look of righteous indignation at the balls on this 75-year-old guy to demand that we work off this remaining $20. And so he actually agreed to come back and rake this guy's lawn. We take this monstrosity of a TV back to the apartment, and then just never went back. And I think the guy like called Justin a few times, and Justin just outraged, like, no, how dare that guy ask us to rake his leaves? Like, that's not part of the transaction. This is outrageous. So, anyways, that was a hilarious story that sticks out in my mind. All right, what's the next one on my mind? Which one am I thinking of here? All right, so the next trait is Justin's just willingness to be gung ho when it comes to having wanting to have like just a memorable experience. He's all about that experience, as we all know. He likes that. So there was one particular weekend. Who knows what year in college? Some fucking year, probably about junior year of college, I suppose. Me and him, fresh off of Australia, actually decent surfers at the time, have all our wetsuit gear, actually own surfboards, like so ready to charge some waves. And so there was just one random weekend where it was like probably like November, Northwest Washington, Oregon, where Justin just one weekend just like, dude, it's been too long since I've gotten wet. so let's bust out to the coast. Actually, no. So this would have been senior year because I had my Audi by then. And so we jump in my Audi and we bust out there to the coast, just me and him. No one else wanted to go with us. PS hadn't quite turned on that PS spark yet, or maybe he just wasn't around. Who knows? And so it was just me and Justin going surfing. And so we bust out there on a Friday, and it was like so last minute. No one's planned anything. Well, I was a camping man back in college. Did a lot of rock climbing, had a couple of tents, had sleeping bags, the works, and everything was like nicely contained in like a plastic tote container. And so it's easy for me, to survive in the wilderness. I just chucked in the back of my car and threw a surfboard. I'm like, okay, I'm good to go. And Justin presumably throws some things in the back of the car, and he's also good to go. And so we bust out there to the Oregon coast, and it's like as overcast as November Oregon coast will be, cold as fuck. And we get out there like late on a Friday, super super fucking late on a Friday, and with the goal to, I don't even know what the goal was. I don't know when we were planning on surfing or if we even did end up surfing, but that night we roll in there and we didn't make any plans for like, obviously not a hotel, that wasn't going to happen, but we were planning on like camping somewhere, but no campground, like made no plans on where to go. So we roll in there and it's like probably like 10 o'clock at night, super late, dark, and just fucking frigid cold. And we just drive around for a while, like trying to figure out where we're going to sleep for the night. And like Justin naturally did not have a tent whatsoever, but like I had a tent, and I was like, oh yeah, like by all means, like you can share my tent, dude. But like I hadn't made provisions for Justin. And so I didn't have a ground mat for him to sleep on. There was no sleeping bag for him. I just assumed that he was prepared for an Oregon coast sleepover. And so we get out there and we end up just like driving endlessly through these back roads, and we end up finding we just finally just like turn off down a dirt road, and we decide just to camp in the middle of the road. I think it was a dead end, just a dirt road. So they literally just stopped the car right in the middle of the road, and it was so fucking cold that I was just like, you know what, Justin, like by all means, like pitch my tent, like go do your thing. But like I'm gonna sleep in my car because I laid down the seats in the Audi, and it's the perfect like amount of space for like one man to lay out. I had my camping mat, that blew up like that much, nice and comfortable, big down sleeping bag, like mummy bag. Like I was definitely gonna be warm. It was gonna be just fine. I was gonna sleep well. Fucking Justin like gets out and like pitches this tent. And the only thing he had brought, literally the only thing he had brought to like keep himself warm, was like his twin size cotton comforter from his bed at whatever the apartment he was living at with Ryan or whatever. Like thin cotton, like nothing to lay down on the ground, like literally, and like probably wearing like his white gym shorts and like a hoodie or something, and that was it for like probably 25 degrees out, 35 at best, and just fucking frigid cold. And he did it. That was like, I just sat. I remember going to sleep and just being like, he is gonna have the most miserable night of his life right now, just huddled up, like curled up in his fucking cotton blanket. But he did it, and then we probably went surfing the next day and then went home. But yeah, I won't forget that. Man, I'm getting warmed up here just telling these Justin stories, speaking into the void here of this phone. Um, all right. Next trait and next story, JC, I'll say here, will be, this is a classic, but, at least we can document it here. Um, is Justin's willingness to try new things. Always willing. Well, often willing to try new things. And so this is kind of a two-part story. I'll just tell it in two little mini pieces. One thing, just a hilarious prelude to this story was when Justin became. So, Molly, I know you know the Justin that we've all grown to love, and you know him as I know him now. But it was a very different Justin, let's say roughly freshman, sophomore year of college. That's right in the thick of when we went off to Australia and we were just mucking around there. Justin was an innocent man, like untarnished by the world, innocent but curious, willing to try new things. And so obviously what I'm leading around to here too is the introduction of marijuana into Justin's life, something that clearly he's going to grow to love and never look back. But so one little brief story, when we were in Australia, I'll never forget, me and Grayson and my ex-girlfriend at the time, Katie, would go down to this little car that maybe Justin was involved in buying this car in Australia actually with Jared. I don't know. It was this like maroon red station wagon that promptly broke down and just no one could ever drive it ever again. So it just was like rusting in the parking lot of this college, just like flat tires, like couldn't go anywhere. We were going to an Adventist Christian college, and so smoking weed was difficult. So me and Grayson and Katie would always sneak off to this car, out of the dorms at nighttime and go sit in there and smoke weed. But like for some reason, like Justin started to get curious, and he would want to come with us, and he would sit in the back seat and like watch us smoke. He would never like do it. And there's one thing that's always hilarious to me is I was just like smoking a bowl once, and the weed, was red hot, and he looks over, he's like so innocently curious. He's like, "Is that what you call the cherry?" I was just busting up laughing at that. I'm just curious about what the fuck the cherry was. So anyway, so that he used to never smoke weed. So, but I was always forefront with like, kind of like not pressuring him into doing it, but like just like, Justin, you're missing out. This is a great thing to do. You go for a surf, you have a smoke afterwards. It's brilliant. And so all through Australia, unfortunately, he missed a brilliant year of smoking weed with me and Grayson out there. So we get back to Walla Walla, start up the college year, and it's like brand new. I had just moved in with Ian. Ian and I had those apartments behind the bank there. Fuck, I can't remember the Aspen Lane apartment. And it's just me and Ian, first time living off campus, no more dorm shit. Like this is big time. Casson naturally still in the dorm, or maybe you were with Ryan then. I don't remember. And so, anyways, one night, so I have like a organic chemistry test, or not organic, what would it have been? One of the science classes, some fucking test that required a healthy amount of studying. Ian wasn't there. He was off gallivanting around with D Waters, and I'm just literally just settling in to just like do a solid DDS study session. It's like 7:00 at night. All of a sudden, just fucking pounding on the door, no warning at all. I guess this was probably the days before we all had cell phones all the time. Anyways, pounding on the door, and fucking Justin just bursts in, and he's just like pacing around, like clearly worked up and like anxious, and just like, like something's going on. Like I had no idea. Like literally, it took like probably 10 minutes of him like just pacing around, just like taking those deep breaths, like just like, dude, what the fuck happened, man? Like I couldn't even begin to fathom. And so anyways, finally he just looks at me. He's like, well, you only live once, and if you're gonna do it one time, you got to do it once. And so okay, I think I'm ready. I'm like, what, man? He's like, I want to try smoking weed. I'm like, all right, that's it. Slammed the book shut. Just threw the whole night of studying out the window. Thanks, Justin. But it's like, this is my chance. I figured, this innocent Adventist kid is the only chance that he's ever going to smoke weed with me ever. So we're going to do it right, It's not going to be one of those bullshit, like, someone takes a little hit, like, I don't like how it feels in my throat. No, fuck that. If you're going to do it one time, you're going to at least get stoned. So I'm like, all right, Justin, let's go. Back into my bedroom. And so we go back there, and I first proceed to roll a joint, healthy joint, about the size of my finger, and then load up that little green bubbler that Grayson probably still has somewhere. guarantee you Grayson still has it. Load up that little green bubbler. I was like, all right, and Justin, this is all beyond him, like smoking up a bong, smoking joints, like this, all of a sudden overwhelmed, probably immediately regretting it. And it's like, okay. And so we start off with a joint and just blaze right through it. And like Justin, people, first time they smoke weed, Justin's just like, I was like, you stoned yet? And he's like, no, like I don't feel anything. And I know that like you're gonna be fucking ripped in like 5 more minutes. But I was like, okay, no, well, dude, if you must not have been inhaling, so that means we gotta take bong rips right now. So just load like in two quick successions, massive bong rips, and like by the second one, Justin like got that huge hit that's way too big and just fucking it's just like that's gonna fucking knock you on your socks. And so that hits him like a ton of bricks. He like starts like immediately pacing, like running around the apartment. It's just me and him there by himself, and he's like just like this like joy like wonder, like I feel like I've like walked through a curtain into another world, just like amazement, just so like just childlike wonder. And then all of a sudden Ian and Waters come back. They're like out drinking that night. And Justin immediately he like hears them coming and just panics and runs straight back into my bedroom. And I'm like still sitting there just like smoking weed, just like listening to music. And I was like, what's up, dude? He's like, they can't ever know, just panicking that like somehow word's gonna get back to Ryan, his brother, that he tried some weed. And and so anyways, Ian and Waters comes in, and Justin has like closed my bedroom door, so it's just me and him like being all weird. And Ian, they probably assume I'm back there studying or something. And so after like 5 minutes, I'm like, this is stupid. I'm going out to hang out with them. Like, I'm just gonna sit here in my tiny like little bedroom on this futon of mine, like while you just be ripped out of your mind. And so he made no, like would not let me go. And then I was just like, no, dude, I'm going out there. And so he panics and jumps in my closet and closes the door, like literally crawls into the back of my closet. It's like it's not a walk-in closet, it's a small closet. And just like huddles in there and like behind like God knows what's in there, just like huddled in a ball in the back of the closet and closes the door, like pitch black. I was like, well, all right, dude, I guess you're just hanging out there. He's like, don't tell them I'm back here. Like, okay. So I walk back out in the living room, and they're like, hey, dude, like, what's going on? I'm like, oh, yeah, Justin smoked weed for the first time. He's back there in my closet. And they just started, like, busting up laughing. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, dude. Like, he made me promise not to tell you, but obviously I'm going to tell you immediately. And so they're like, okay. And then they all start smoking weed. And we honestly forget about Justin for probably a good, like, 45 minutes. Like, a very extensive period of time. And we're just sitting there smoking weed. No one's even mentioned Justin. And then just out of nowhere, Justin just comes walking out the up the hallway from where my bedroom is, and everyone's just like, "Oh, dude, welcome in. It's great." And so then it was all everything was just fine, and Justin calmed down a little bit. And what was the second part of the story? Oh yeah, so then the night progresses, the munchies settle in. So in Walla Walla, the place to go for a good vegetarian feed was to go up to what the fuck was that place called on the corner? Whatever that goddamn gas station was. Grayson knows all the names of these places still, I'm sure. But there was like a gas station that had like a fucking little like stand where you could get like vegetarian hot dogs and like haystack probably. I don't fucking know. Vegetarian BLT. Good stuff there. And so we decided to walk there. It was like 2 blocks away from our apartment. And so all 4 of us walk up there to this gas station to buy some munchies at like 10 o'clock at night. And this place is always gonna be ripe with like it's like right on the corner of the college. Tons of Adventist kids walking back and forth, like and like of course the Schlater boys are always the guys doing drugs and like we're always the weird ones out. But we can we can hang. I can talk with a straight face to someone just ripped out of my mind. Well, Justin now obviously could do something like that, but first time getting high, absolutely not. So we go in here and like Justin like sees like who knows some Adventist people that maybe he knows or recognizes, and immediately like panics, like grabbing my arm, like dragging me down and something. Like, dude, get off me, man. Like, come on. And so like he like runs down the aisle. It's like a 3-aisle gas station, like tiny. Like, dude, everybody can see exactly what you're doing, and proceeds to like claps, like just like kneels down on the floor and like goes completely limp. and lays down on the floor of this gas station, just like writhing around, just fucking craziness. And so me, Ian, and Walker just fucking beelining out of there. We're like, what are you doing, man? Are you crazy? I still don't understand that reaction. Like, why you collapsed on the floor, just like writhing? It was like sensory overload for you or something. And so, anyways, yeah, so you eventually caught up to us, yelled at us for deserting you or something. And so then the next morning, to conclude the story, the next morning, we go to classes and whatnot for the day. Meet up with Justin for the first time, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and and the first thing I asked him, I was like, dude, so what'd you think, man? Your first time smoking weed? This was his response. His response was, it's like, it's going to be very hard not to do that again. The rest is history. So, anyways, enough of me talking. I'm procrastinating right now. So, JC, happy birthday, man. Wish I could celebrate with you. Molly, can't wait to meet you. I think this is a great idea. So, Justin, cheers to all the memories. I'm out.